All right, diving in. Today, it's something I bet you've heard about, but maybe not really dug into. Flat Earth theories.
Oh, yeah, classic.
You've sent in some really interesting stuff, articles,
Yeah.
even a Vsauce video, so we know you want to get to the bottom of
Can
this.
honestly, it's more than just saying yes or no to the Earth being flat, right?
Right. You might be prepping for a debate or maybe just curious,
Yeah.
but there's a lot to unpack here.
Absolutely. It gets us thinking about how people understand the world, the whole idea of knowledge, and how science helps even with these wild ideas.
Totally. Okay, so the Vsauce video starts with a pretty bold statement. Kansas is flatter than a pancake.
Haha. Gotta love a good attention grabber.
Now, obviously, Earth isn't a pancake, but this gets us thinking about scale, doesn't it?
For sure, it's like what we might call local flatness versus the big picture.
Hmm.
Think of a pancake on a table up close. Pancake's flat. Zoom out, you see the table's curve.
Right.
Perspective.
Then the video simulates gravity on a flat Earth.
Mm.
And that's where things get tricky for me.
Ugh, yeah. Gravity gets weird if you're on a giant disk.
Help me out here. How would gravity even work on a flat Earth?
Okay, so imagine walking towards the edge of this disk world, right? It'd feel like constantly walking uphill. Buildings would have to be built leaning in, more and more tilted, just so down feels normal.
Wait, so if gravity pulls everything towards the center, wouldn't everyone be, like, struggling to stand up straight all the time?
Exactly. And the real kicker, you trip near the edge, you don't fall off, you roll back towards the center.
Whoa, never thought of that. So it's not falling off the edge, it's getting pulled back to the middle. Crazy how much we don't think about living on a sphere, huh?
Totally. How we build stuff, gravity, it's all tied in.
And speaking of things we assume, there's that myth about everyone thinking the Earth was flat before Columbus. Not quite true, right?
Yeah, that's a misconception. Ancient Greeks, Aristotle, Eratosthenes, they had evidence of the curve. Ships disappearing hull first over the horizon, how stars change position as you travel.
So if they figured it out, where'd this flat Earth idea even come from?
Seems more like an insult, historically, like calling your opponent a flat earther meant they were ignorant.
Huh. So even back then, people used misinformation to, like, win arguments.
Yeah.
Makes you think.
Yeah.
But not everyone got the memo right.
Oh yeah, early 1900s, there's Wilbur Glenn Believa leading a religious community in Zion, Illinois, full-on flat earther.
And he didn't just believe it, he taught it in schools everywhere.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. He held on to this even as evidence for a round Earth was piling up.
Wow, even with all the proof. It's fascinating how strong beliefs can be, even when the facts are there. Have you ever run into that, where someone just won't budge?
Oh, for sure. But fast forward to now, flat Earth is back, thanks to the internet.
It's amazing how misinformation spreads online. But what do modern flat earthers actually say? How do they explain stuff like, sailing around the world or time zones?
Well, there's a whole bunch of ideas, like the Earth's a disk with an ice wall, or the sun's like a spotlight making time zones. Some even deny gravity completely.
Wow, they'll twist anything to fit, huh? But what about satellites, photos from space? You can't really argue with those.
The thing is, a lot of their explanations are like ad hoc. They explain one thing but don't fit the whole picture. It's like jamming puzzle pieces where they don't belong.
This reminds me of Poe's law. Have you heard of that? It says extreme parody and real extremism are hard to tell apart, especially online.
Oh, absolutely. It makes you wonder, are these flat earthers serious or are they just messing with everyone?
It's a question of, like, psychology, almost. But for now, let's get even weirder. Let's talk Einstein. Relativity.
Okay, strap in. Things are about to get mind-bending.
I know Einstein's famous for being complex.
Yeah?
But how does relativity fit into all this?
So, relativity says speed affects how we experience time and space. At super high speeds, like a cosmic ray, time slows down, distances shrink.
Wait, time slows down, distances shrink. I need a visual here.
Okay, imagine you're that cosmic ray zipping past Earth at almost the speed of light. Because you're moving so fast, Earth doesn't look like a sphere to you, it looks flat.
Hold on. So to a cosmic ray, the Earth is flat. But we know it's a sphere. How is that possible?
Perspective. It shows that even something as basic as Earth's shape can look different depending on your viewpoint, literally.
That is mind-blowing. So does this mean there's no such thing as truth?
Not necessarily, but it suggests maybe there isn't one right answer to everything. Our understanding depends on our perspective and the information we have.
Okay, I think I'm getting it, but my brain is doing backflips right now.
It's a lot to take in. But it's a good reminder to be open-minded and question what we think we know, even about stuff as basic as the shape of our planet.
So we've got even the shape of Earth looking different, depending on where you're standing. That cosmic ray thing really got me thinking, like, how much our viewpoint changes how we understand things.
It's true, and it makes me think of this analogy, knowledge is a crossword puzzle.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that before. Can you explain that for our listener? I think it's a really cool way to think about knowledge.
So this philosopher, Susan Hack, she says that building knowledge is like working on this giant crossword puzzle.
Okay, I like where this is going.
And like as we learn stuff, it's like filling in those answers.
Right, right.
And just like a crossword, the way those answers fit together, it helps us see the bigger picture and feel more sure that we're on the right track?
So the more we learn, the more the puzzle gets filled in, and the clearer the whole thing becomes. Makes sense.
Exactly. But here's the catch. There might not be just one right solution, just like some crosswords have multiple answers that work.
Oh, interesting. So you're saying our understanding of the world, even with all the science we have, could still be open to different interpretations.
Absolutely. And to show this, let's look at a real-world example. The New York Times election crossword from back in '96.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's so special about this crossword?
So this puzzle was published the day before the U.S. presidential election, Clinton versus Dole.
Okay, yeah.
One clue seemed like you had to know who would win the election before it happened.
Whoa, that's tricky. What was the clue?
It was lead story in tomorrow's newspaper blank, elected.
So how could anyone know that? Sounds impossible.
It was brilliant. The answer could be either Clinton or Bob Dole. Both names fit perfectly with all the other clues.
No way. Two solutions, both working. That's amazing. It's like a perfect example that sometimes there isn't one right answer.
Exactly. And just like that crossword, our understanding of the world might have multiple valid interpretations, depending on what info we have in our perspective.
I love that analogy. Good reminder to stay open-minded, consider different views. This whole deep dive has been wild, busting myths about flat Earth and the physics of a disc-shaped planet. Now we're in philosophy, talking about truth.
It's been quite the journey, and it all started with that simple question, is the Earth flat?
Which, for the record, it's not. But looking into the reasoning behind it all has taken us to some pretty interesting places, made us think differently about things.
Definitely. It shows that even out there ideas can be good starting points for deeper exploration and critical thinking.
So wrapping up this part of our deep dive, what's the main takeaway for our listener? What do you hope they're thinking about now?
I think the biggest thing is to remember, even with something as basic as Earth's shape, there's always more to learn, more to question, more to discover.
I love that. Always more to learn, more to discover. That's the key. It's a journey, not a destination, right?
Right.
We've challenged some ideas, thought about some crazy stuff. Hopefully got people asking their own questions, too.
Yeah, that's what we hope for.
It's wild to think, even something as basic as Earth's shape,
Mm.
it can look different depending on literally where you're standing, like that cosmic ray example.
Yeah.
What other truths are we just, assuming are true?
That's the thing about knowledge. It's always changing, always growing, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Makes you wonder what we'll be talking about on our next deep dive.
Who knows what mysteries will unravel next?
Well, on that note, huge thanks to you for joining us on this wild ride through Flat Earth and beyond.
It's been a pleasure.
And to everyone listening, keep questioning, keep exploring, and most importantly, enjoy the journey.